All right, here live Park Plaza. I just pulled up. Flip the beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg. All right, let's go take a look. Let's take a look at the projects we're working on. All right, this is a unit. It's just starting to get staged. So the main focus here is putting in, I'll put some before pictures, but putting in the wood floors. Walk you guys through. We're really not finished yet, but I'm getting a little on top of the cleaning crew with staging, but I won't be able to stay, so I arrived here a little quicker than them. This is the studio unit. My target would be 1,000 a month. Target would be 1,000 a month for these units, but obviously due to COVID and a lot of the competition in the marketplace, I've had to really focus a lot more on finding out what the actual prospect tenants want here in downtown St. Pete. So what do I mean by that? The amenities, the things that we do, like the wood floor. These wood floors, I didn't have to put that in 6 months, 9 months ago. I didn't have to put these wood floors in. But because of the competition of Class A properties, I'm now having to focus on putting in the wood floors and then putting in some similar upgrades. When I put in these wood floors or I put in any type of upgrade, I always want to understand a couple of things. Number one, what's my payback period? So if I put in wood floors, what's the cost? What's the payback period? Which means it's a formula that we use to understand if you put in $1,000 worth of wood flooring and you charge $965 as your market rent, what's the payback period? How many months in the lease before you pay back the actual improvements? With this project, is roughly right around 4.6 months. So just round up the 5 months it'll take to, these minor upgrades that we've done to pay these back during the lease term. A lot of the first time, or should I say the first cycle upgrades when we acquired the property were things like these fixtures, upgrades and appliances, and then the major upgrades were the cabinets, fixtures. These were the major upgrades the first run around, resurfacing the tubs. Second cycle in the renewals, not so much having to worry about that now. It's doing the floors. This was tile. We just went directly over the tile, putting in new flooring in the bathrooms, and then now the wood floorings in the upgrade. A lot of folks, again, the focus is why am I having to do this? I'm having to do this because of the Class A competition in the marketplace. So when we first got the project, a lot of the Class A projects weren't out of the ground yet. They were just being developed. Now these projects are fully developed and ready to lease. And because they're Class A assets, they offer a ton of discounts. And that lures away a lot of our potential prospect tenant demographic that would visit us. So essentially what happens is they come here, they love the location, they fall in love with the location, fall in love with the property, and I'll walk you around here in a minute. But then they get lured out from Class A properties. We can't compete with a lot of the amenities that they're offering. Coffee shops, Wi-Fi, world-class weight room facilities, gyms, and things of that nature. So really tough to compete with a lot of the Class A product. However, when you understand what your prospect tenant demographics and psychographics are, you understand where to place your rents. That's why it's so strategic. Every upgrade, there has to be a price associated with that upgrade. So by me putting in these wood floors, what do I expect to get? I expect at least $45 to $50 added to the base rent, the market rent in the area. So that's what I expect when I put these upgrades in, and for every faucets, fixtures, vanities, anything that you see, the backsplash, anything you see here, there's a price associated with each of these items. So I expect anywhere between $15 to $25 for fixture upgrades, $35 to $40 for appliance upgrades on the base rents. So, again, with that being said, there's a lot of downward pressure, on us, with the Class A properties, coming online this month and over the next 3 to 4 months. It's going to be really, the trick is going to be, convincing a prospect tenant to want to live here versus some of the Class A properties with a lot of their amenities. And hopefully we get them with our price point. And what it is location, obviously, where we're located. Blocks from the water, just 2 blocks from the brand new pier, 2 blocks from the water, 3 blocks from Central Avenue, downtown. So great amenities, location, of course. But still, it's kind of hard to compete with a ton of amenities that the Class A properties have. So what we're doing is focusing on price point. Now, with that being said, with price point, one of the other issues that I'm starting to see, if you follow my blogs or podcasts or anything that I do, you'll understand that for me, I said I didn't think multifamily would be affected until October, November due to COVID. Everyone said multifamily has gone through unscathed pretty much due to COVID. And for me, I said I felt like October, November would be the deciding factor, that everybody was a tad bit too premature. And I'm starting to see some of those effects. We actually had 2 skip outs this week here at Park Plaza. And so I'm understanding who are tenants that may struggle, who they are, what their classifications are as far as employment is concerned. And a lot of it is the retail and service industry. One of them was a contractor. So these are the things that I got to think about moving forward with qualifying criteria and setting up my qualifying criteria with a lot of new onboarding prospect tenants. So, some more changes there to be able to offset, any type of skips or an absorbent amount of delinquencies that I could forecast. So I think COVID is still going to have a major effect. It's also, I think, going to have a major effect with my renewals. It hasn't really, it's starting to rear its head right now where some of our tenants who are fine, who have employment, young professionals, are deciding to save money because they're concerned about what's going on in the marketplace. So they're deciding to save money and they're deciding to double up with other tenants. And because I have our other, friends and family, they're starting to, the roommate situation is really starting to come into play. So what you have is a lot of our tenants here deciding to find roommates to cut costs. And obviously it's tough to have a roommate in a studio unit. So that is something that I've got to keep track on, and our guys got to keep track on as far as, how many we anticipate of individuals saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to renew because I found a roommate and we're going to go get a 2-bedroom. It's going to cut down on costs. I've already had 2 of those. So, that's no longer to me just a trend or just an anomaly. It's actually a trend. And so now I got to prepare for that. So I might have to start offering some sort of discounts on the renewals as far as price points are concerned. With our market rents, we may have to come backwards because it's cheaper to keep them. At the end of the day, it's always cheaper to keep a tenant versus for me to get for them to move out and me to make a unit ready and then for it to sit on the market for a couple of weeks. Obviously, we know we're losing loss to lease income there, vacancy income. So at the end of the day, it's always cheaper to keep the tenants that you have. So really focusing on a renewal campaign is really going to be something that I'm going to do. So some are already inquiring about these wood floors because they see the work going in. So existing tenants are asking, can they get wood floor? So these are things that I'm having to, possibly say yes to as an upgrade to get those tenants to actually stay. So, the short of it is, COVID-19, I think hasn't really, if you're underwriting properties right now, I personally don't feel COVID-19 has really shown itself. in the multifamily space yet, but I do feel like it's to come, October, November, especially now that a lot of the stimulus is running out. And then most, right now that the battle is the $200 versus the $600. A lot of this, and the unemployment checks, a lot of this have a ton of amount of downward pressure on your prospect tenant, especially in that workforce demographic that a lot of you are probably underwriting right now. So I would personally, just make sure you want to factor that in your underwriting, factor in insurance going up, and then you also really want to focus on property taxes, because there's a ton of lost revenue with these municipalities due to COVID and them having to shut down a lot of businesses. So, obviously they're going to look to find that income somewhere. So you want to anticipate property taxes going up, insurance going up to price in COVID protection or virus protection. And you want to also understand that you need to start focusing on your renewals. You need to really start focusing on your prospect tenants and changing your qualifying criteria and a lot of your proposed upgrades that you may have, as well as some of your assumptions on increasing the rents over the next 6 months, 9 months, or even into 2021. So hopefully these tips help you all. Join me on my podcast, Buy the Block. Please join me in the Multifamily Matrix. It's an awesome membership program. Starts at just $59 a month. You get all of the tools and resources of every asset manager, property manager, training, certifications, designations. So please join me in the Multifamily Matrix. Visit bryanchavis.com. And guys, I'll see you soon. Hopefully this helped. Take care, be blessed, and be safe.